Dave here, how are you? And welcome to this 5 or 6 episode build of this 5-drawer 180 piece pencil box that I built for my mum. Now mum's getting on, she's about 87, and she needed something going to be, it's not going to scratch any furniture that she puts the box on. It has to be kind to her skin, because her skin's not as tough as it used to be anymore. It also needed to have drawers that could come out totally and still have a good form, not twist around or anything, so she can put them on furniture and look at all of the pencils in one go, so she can make up her mind. 180 is a lot of pencils, a lot of colours there, so she can work out what ones she wants to use next. I needed it also to be easy motion on the drawers. She can put the drawers back, they slide beautifully. She needs to be able to get them out easily and not have them roll around. She can pop the pencils back in their designated space, because she's a very organized person. I don't know where I get it from. Now, so what I did was I got the pencils that I wanted and I created almost a replica to what Derwent had just here. This is one of their trays, and I needed to create something that you could push the pencil down on the end and it would pop up. That holds 36 pencils, and I thought, well, why reinvent the wheel? But I didn't want it to be flimsy like this, for mum to be dropping pencils around the place. It needed to have a little bit more protection and still needed to be very light. I was going to make it out of 3/4 inch timber all the way around, 19 mil, but that starts to get really heavy when you're combining that with a box, 5 drawers and pulling them out, so I had to halve the weight. So what I did was I worked it out that I thought Tassie yoke would be strong enough to be able to go down to around 1/4 inch, maybe 6 or 7 millimeters thick. I could build all of the drawers out of that. The outside unit, this is another one that I'm making, it needed to be a little bit stronger. It's got to house everything, and it's not going to be moved around as much. So I thought I'll go with 3/4 inch pine. Now the timbers that I needed, they had to all be stable. They can't twist around, so I had to go for something like a premium pine. Tassie oak drawers, I'm building some other ones out of Camphor. Look, there's so many species of timber out there that you can rip down. But I just needed to work out what thickness and what strength and what width, what depth, all that kind of stuff. Now the drawers, while we're on the drawers, I also wanted the drawers to be able to slide really easily. Now without a metal guide or anything like that, you'll find very thin, wide drawers, wider than they are deep, will tend to catch and they'll rock around inside a unit. So I had to work out my way around that, which I will go into in the construction. The design also, I needed to work out which direction to go with my core bit. So I've got a half round router cutter. I needed to work out which width I needed to go with, had the spacing to create all of these slots, these little homes for the pencils to live in. I need to work out whether I can go across the grain or whether I had to go along the grain. So I have all these, I did little samples, I did test cases, and I found that going across the grain was tearing out like crazy. Along the grain I was getting a very good result. I had to work out how to sand all of these little depressions, so I worked out a system for that. I needed to work out whether I was going to leave it raw or whether I was going to actually put a finish on it. The list goes on. I needed to have it so that I could have all of the pencils exposed but still have some of the drawer left inside the unit so that the drawer didn't fall out and would be self-supporting. So I came up with this idea of an area at the back for an eraser and also for a sharpener and an area for rulers and things. So part of the drawer is still going to be in there, but Mum can see all of the pencils on display. She can get them out while they're still in the box. I needed the unit to be kind to furniture, so we felt line the underside of the whole box. So putting it down, it's not going to scratch. I know how many times have you put a box down or a ceramic item down on a really nice finish and just moved it out of the way and it scratched it, and you think, what an idiot. Low quality craftsmanship. So I didn't want that to happen. I'll go through the process of doing that with you. I wanted the drawers also, while we're on a felt subject, I wanted the drawers when they'd been finished to be able to slide in without making a clunk noise. Now you will hear the pencils just tapping the back of the drawer as they're closed, but you won't hear the back of the drawer hitting the back of the box because I've put felt buffers in there as well. The outside of the box, I wanted to have something that's nice and soft to touch, so All of my box joints on the outside unit are rounded over, and I'll go through all of that process. Finished, I could either have shellacked and waxed it, or else I could have gone with a poly. I ended up going with a varnish, a clear varnish and a water base, because I didn't want the timber to go orange. I wanted to maintain as much of the natural colour as I could. The drawers, I wanted to make sure that Mum could get a finger underneath the drawer handle to pick it up, because the drawers are only very thin. So rather than put the handle right in the middle of the drawer, I favoured the top. And it's all there for a reason. And I think the drawers have come up really nicely. They're a focal point. They're laminated timbers. So I've got three layers of timber, one really nice in the centre, so that, you know, it draws your eye to that. That's where the handle is. One of the other things that I had, what was the other thing? Oh, I needed to be able to pick the unit up, so I've got these little recesses under here, so pick it up without having to, you know, manhandle the thing up off the bench. I've yet to sand those one. I needed the drawer to be thick enough or deep enough to take the size of the sharpener and also of the eraser, and maybe a ruler or two. So I had to combine that depth with the depth of the pencils. Then I had to work out the depth just here from there to there for the pencils to stay in, so if the unit is moved around, the pencils aren't all rolling all over the place. Had to do all those sums and work out what depth of timber, what thickness of timber. I lay things out, and I looked at all of the stuff. I thought, right, well, I need this, I need the other. I'll put a piece of timber in front. No, that's too tall. I put a pencil or two on, and I put some other things around. Do I put the drawer and the drawer base totally over the whole lot, or do I rebate the drawer base into the sides? All of this stuff I had to work out. So anyway, I got there in the end, because you can tell by the smile, I was very happy with the end result. And Mum loves it too. Okay, so next week we will hook into the actual start of the construction. So please come back for that. But at least in this episode, I've told you where I drew all my ideas from and combined them in the concept, in the conceptum. So the concept was my artistic side. The design was my engineering side. So Dad was an engineer, Mum was an artist. There you go. I'm lucky. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye.